That late afternoon, Jurgen and I met as agreed at the formal campsite in eastern Iceland, so we could dump our tanks the following morning before heading to the ferry port. Then later that evening, we enjoyed pizza and a few beers, then retired for the evening to prepare clothes and electronic devices we were going to need for the 2.5-day trip back to Denmark. Upon arriving at the port and completing brief check-in procedures, we joined the queue to board the ferry. Then, just as earlier on this trip, when I started to feel like a true world explorer, my gaze set upon a vehicle with mainland Chinese plates. In speaking with the 4 occupants, it turns out they drove from China, across Russia and into Europe to get to Iceland, and now we're looking at a return journey to retrace their steps to China.
Iceland. Cars still boarding, cars and trucks still boarding.
With Bat safely parked in the belly of the ship, the boarding process was over, and having tossed my travel bag in my cabin, I briefly toured the ship and then made my way to the bar. While on our return journey, Jurgen had told me that he was meeting his girlfriend near Hirtshals, so she could accompany him back to Belgium where he lives. Thus, on arrival at the port, we said our goodbyes and went our separate ways. Little did I know then that the following day, and upon arrival at a motorway service rest stop, I would receive a phone call from Jürgen, informing me that he and his girlfriend were stranded at that exact same location because the German police had conducted a random document check. And it turned out that his medical certificate had expired, and thus he was going to have to leave his truck at the rest stop until he could return to Belgium to correct the situation. And so, of course, I moved a few things around in the cab, and Amy and Jürgen climbed aboard Bat, and we headed to his house in Belgium. It was a lot of fun having company for the journey back to Belgium, and Amy made this funny post on Instagram. I was just very glad that I could help my fellow explorer. That evening we enjoyed dinner together in Belgium, and Jürgen kindly offered me a camp location at his house. The following day I made my way back to the Netherlands to drop Bat off at Bliss Mobile to get some upgrades installed. With Bat safely in the hands of the Bliss team, I made my way via train to Amsterdam's Schiphol Airport to catch a plane back to London. Ten days later, and upgrades installed, I returned to Bliss Mobile to pick up Bat and make my way back to the UK. The return journey was sufficiently long that I had to spend one more night along the way at a rest stop in France. And the following morning I discovered, interestingly, that someone had left a bag full of dried flowers attached to my winch hook. So if you are watching this channel and know who delivered the flowers, please let me know. And then I found myself back in the UK and at my favourite local fuel station, tanking up before heading to my sister's house. And after a warm welcome from my sister's dog, Cassie, and my friend John at the local pub, it was time for me to prepare for a major event. However, it was not my plan that preparations would include me whacking my finger with power tools and requiring 5 stitches to rectify the problem. For over a year now it had been my plan to adjust my schedule to be able to attend the Oxted and Edenbridge Agricultural Show, for which my nephew Anthony plays a major part in organising. As you view the upcoming footage, you will begin to understand just how large an enterprise the E&O show actually is. Of course, the highlight for me was being interviewed by my nephew in the main arena, after being permitted to follow a procession of vintage tractors around the arena. It was such fun and an event I will not soon forget.
Arena, and then they will turn. Thorn sticks to phase, leg to watch. Two retrieves, two gunshots.
These bird dogs are just amazing and so well trained. Bear with me and watch and enjoy how the dog and the owner work together to retrieve the artificial down birds.
Picked beautifully, comes back. Then the second retrieve will be what we call a memory mark, where the dog has to remember where it was, Faye has to remember where it was, and then hopefully between the two of them they'll get to the right place. Picked the second one beautifully on the way back.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that, and now you understand that a British agricultural show has something to interest just about everybody in the family. After a brief rest, I was off to spend a great long weekend at my friend Andy's place on the southeast coastal town of Ramsgate. Andy's partner Jane and Andy's niece Juliet joined us, and we enjoyed good food, good company, and good conversations. Then it was back to Farley to perform some maintenance on Bat. Farley is just a beautiful enclave just south of London, yet it's so rural given how close it is. This time of year, it's just lovely to sink oneself into autumn's wonderful colours. For my final adventure before heading back to the US, I plan to do the North Coast 500 in Scotland. But that, my friends, is the story for another time.